Dear students, my name is Emily from the Department of Marketing and Tourism Management at National Jai University. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to do collaboration project with Professor Yoko and all participants. Today, I'm going to present the tribal tourism in Taiwan. Transforming tribal tourism through agricultural heritage. As we have known, indigenous areas often possess unique cultural and agricultural wisdom that can revolutionize tribal tourism, which it can create authentic, differentiated tourism experiences. And the challenge of tribal tourism in Taiwan is the cultural homogeneity. Indigenous areas typically incorporate cultural elements like festivals, natural landscapes, and traditional practices into tourism planning. However, this creates high cultural homogeneity, while most visitors approach tribes with a sightseeing mindset and lead to conflicts and commercialization concerns. Agriculture is the heart of tribal identity. For the production knowledge, centuries of accumulated expertise in cultivating specialty crops adapted to mountainous terrain and local ecosystems. For the land interaction, it maintaining harmony with nature resources and avoiding ecosystem destruction. And also for generational wisdom, agricultural practices passed down through generations, forming the cultural foundation of tribal economic sustainability. And agriculture in indigenous area is not merely production, it's a key element of cultural landscape. The production land is often remote and used for crops required in cultural rituals, creating agricultural landscapes vastly different from Han Chinese rural areas. In terms of historical evolution of indigenous agriculture, from traditional era, using fire to clear land, maintaining harmonious relationships with nature surroundings. Up to colonial period, restriction to indigenous reserves and implementation of fixed crop, paddy field policy to manage forests and develop mountain resources. Until 1950s to 1960s, private land ownership concepts emerged among indigenous peoples. And then, during 1980s to 1990, agriculture in the mountains movement encouraged high-value crops like temperate fruits, vegetables, and tea trees for economic improvement. In recent years, shift toward land-friendly agricultural methods, incorporating traditional ecological knowledge and developing tourism leisure agriculture. The agricultural tourism transformation. Why agriculture is the mechanism to transform into agricultural tourism. Owing to agriculture is the main income source for many indigenous tribes. Agricultural landscapes are also integral to tribal identity, and its lower investment threshold for tourism development, and also aligns with regional leisure tourism strategies. The shift required: traditional agriculture is production-oriented, while leisure agriculture is service-oriented. Indigenous tribes must transform their agricultural practices to incorporate experiential elements while maintaining cultural authenticity. Specialty Agricultural Tourism Site Certification. The Specialty Agricultural Tourism Site Certification System provides a framework for developing refined, distinctive agricultural tourism based on production characteristics. In production categories, it includes agriculture such as tea, rice, flowers, fruits, vegetables, herbs, coffee, cocoa, grains, and forestry and bamboo, and fishery, aquaculture, livestock, poultry, bees, etc. For the applicant types, in the Category 1, leisure farms, Category 2, other agricultural tourism operators, Category 3, agricultural related organizations. 4 dimensions, including overall environment and management, resources and building facilities, services and experiential activities, management and marketing. For the indicators, it covers comprehensive certification criteria covering environment, facilities, services, experiences, and marketing strategies. The certification framework of 4 key dimensions: overall, environment and management. For example, rural landscape characteristics, nature resource sustainability, rural themed environment design, holistic concept and vision for specialty products. For the resources and building facilities dimension, for example, specialized crop production zones, agricultural product processing facilities, local cultural building design, themed interpretive facilities, public areas, and regular disinfection. For the services and experiential activities, staff with local cultural expertise, for example, complete product explanations, commercialized production experiences, agricultural processing experiences, cultural education and learning activities. Adapting certification for tribal context. The certification indicators can be transformed to construct tribal agricultural tourism that honors indigenous culture while meeting modern tourism standards. In terms of rural landscape, create visual harmony between indigenous communities and the surrounding agricultural scenery, showcasing tribal farming traditions. In terms of sustainable resources, utilize indigenous people's connection to land and nature ecology, demonstrating respect for nature and environmental sustainability. For cultural design, recreate indigenous agricultural life through wood carving, weaving, and traditional artifacts, integrated into tourism environment. For the key development indicators for tribal tourism, the economic development, participation in certification mechanisms, self-production and self-sales encouragement, Tribal Tourism Association funding, local agricultural products and handcrafts. For management, industrial human resources, cultural and creative strategies, marketing management strategies, tourism resource maintenance, environmental education, ecological awareness programs, sustainable practices education, land stewardship training. For the social cultural, including craft skills inheritance, cultural relics preservation, tribal identity establishment. For core resources, unique tribal characteristics, professional knowledge and skills, organizational culture. Thank you for your listening.